Hello everyone, this is Erik, the Asian movie enthusiast, and this is my review of Love in the Big City, a Korean genre bender from 2024 that stars Kim Go-eun and Noh Sang-kyun. I would classify this as a drama, romance, comedy hybrid. Alright, I was recently in a live stream discussion with Hus from A Touch of Film, as well as a bunch of other people, and I think it was Dimitri who recommended this movie, so it's a good one. It's pretty interesting. Jae-hee, played by Kim Go-eun, a free spirit with a bold, eye-catching style and an unflinching attitude, doesn't care what other people think. However, things take a turn when she becomes entangled with Heung-soo, played by Noh Sang-kyun. Soon, Jae-hee stumbles upon a secret that he is desperate to keep hidden. So our lady protagonist is a bit reckless, which is proven when she steers her motorized scooter in front of a moving bus early in the film, almost causing an accident, for the sole purpose of catching the bus before it drives away. And as it turns out, she's going on a trip with her fellow French students, which includes the male lead, who is revealed to be gay early on. Now, however, the first scene of the movie insinuates that both of these people will be getting together romantically at some point in the future. So at this point, as a viewer, you're kind of wondering how we're going to get from point A to point B. It's a pretty intriguing start to the film. Now, despite what you see near the beginning, the female lead does have a nice side to her personality, and she tries to help this guy with his situation. He really wants to keep his romance life a secret. He really does not want anyone to know that he's gay, for whatever reason. And she assists him in this, despite the fact that he never asked her to do so. So that's where they start their bonding. And, this guy's not exactly a happy guy at the very start. He lives life in a seemingly uncomfortable state most of the time, which becomes understandable as we get to know him more. And as the woman herself describes him, he's cold and cranky. But we do quickly see the other sides of his personality, the more energetic and playful sides, thankfully. I was a little bit afraid near the beginning that this would be maybe a bit too gloomy of a character, but that's not the case. I think both of these characters are balanced out very nicely. This is good, well-written, multi-dimensional character work in this, I think. I think most people would agree with that by the end of the film. Now, this is a very modern romance film, in the romance component. In contrast, I recently reviewed My Little Bride, which is like the kind of romantic comedy that you would expect from South Korea back in 2004. Love in the Big City was released in 2024, and this is a completely different beast. It includes a lot more dramatic aspects, too. But there are a number of observations regarding modern-day dating as of 2024, and most of these are communicated through character interaction and instead of monologues, I would say, which is good. The leads talk about these types of things, and they give each other advice, but the dialogue is mostly realistic and natural. And there are a number of serious moments mixed into this, and they're pretty effective. I think the emotional connection between our two leads is convincing. It is convincing. Now, of course, there are many moments of levity because you have the comedy component in this. And we get some fun scenes when our leads go out at party at like dance clubs and bars and restaurants and stuff like that. There is a lot of alcohol consumption involved and showcased, which is consistent with most Korean films over the past few decades, but it does result in a few funny shenanigans. Now, the comedy has more of a realism to this. Alright, it's not like wacky comedy or anything, which, if they did that, it would be really awkward in a movie like this. And I'd say overall this has a very grounded feel. Typically, sometimes when you infuse comedy into movies like this, it just gets out of balance, but this movie balances it well. I would say a fairly energetic presentation in terms of camera work and editing. Very engaging visually. One criticism I do have is that the ending is a little bit of a cliche. I feel like it almost did not deserve to be in this film with everything that came before it. But it was a decent ending. I wish they would have gone with something a little bit more creative and unorthodox. But that would be one of my criticisms of this. But I think Love in the Big City is a good quality flick. If you're interested in more like the modern conception, or I guess you could say observations on modern dating and romance and things like that, This is a flick that is worthy of a watch, and it's currently available streaming on Viki.com. And as always, we'll see you next time.